Hey guys, it's LSuperSonicQ here with the video that I pretty much said would be on today. Yeah, I know I'm kind of going out of order a bit on the videos that I wanted to put on, but some of the other videos I have to record are taking really long, and they will take really long, so I wanted to get this out today, mostly just to not only elaborate on the super sketching series, but also to kind of get it out because I said I was going to have a video for today, and to kind of give me some more time to finish some of the longer videos I have to record. So, nonetheless, today's super sketching episode is episode 3, in which we will be covering how to draw Espio the Chameleon in my art style. Alright, so let's start. Okay, so when I start with Espio, I usually start with his head, which is pretty much like 85% of a circle, but then you leave some of it open at the top. So, let's do that right now. Go around. Pretty much, like I said, the whole circle thing going on. So after that part, I usually go with the whole hot dog shape type mouth thing, because from that we can make the eyes, and from the eyes we can make the eyebrows. So, again, with the Metal Sonic, it's, you kind of have to just make the hot dog shape and kind of just use judgment right here. I mean, depending upon which way he's facing, this picture he happens to be looking in an upwards direction, so we're going to make it slightly more upward than normal. See, it's like it's bigger up here than smaller down there. We'll just add a little frown right there. Alright, now we can do the eyes. The eyes is something that really, I feel like, captures Espio, especially classic Espio, because he has those little like black things in them. So I always usually start, a pretty good judgment point would be right at the end of the mouth. I'd start with, I don't know, start right there and just bring it up. Like, pretty much following the same turn as this part of the circle from his head. And then pretty much just slope it down. Connect it to the rest of the hot dog shape thing. Yay! So that's one part of his eyes. The second part we're going to save for the horn, but we could add it in right here to help us with the horn, and that's just adding a small line to connect, or pretty much to make a little triangle right there for the other part of his eye that we're actually not going to add any more detail to because it's like looking the other way. Okay, now for his inside the eye, he has a big pupil, which we can color in black. Just like that. Again, it's like a whole circle inside a circle thing. Yay! And then, like I said, this is classic Espio, so we have to put on the little, we have to put in that little, like, black mark that he has inside of his eye, which is pretty much just, you're just coloring in a little, like, triangle portion that was already created from making the eyes and the hot dog shape thing. Alright, so that's pretty much his eyes and mouth. We will make the eyebrows next because the eyebrows are going to lead us into his horn. So, starting from, I'd probably say at the end of this line, okay? Kind of bring it over, make a smaller line over, and then go directly above that and follow it down to his eye, pretty much. I mean, like, to the end of this white stuff, not into, not further into the black, just end it right at that point, and then use this and connect it to his eye. That's pretty much his eyebrow, in a nutshell. Alright, so now that we have his eyebrow done, we can move on to his horn. And we didn't bring this all the way over because that would cut into the horn, so it was a good thing that we only kept it this white part, so now we can curve it over. Ho-ho, that's how you do that. And then you continue the curve around and make, like, a cone-looking thing that looks like a horn, pretty much. And you can add some fancy schmancy little, like, lines, texture, whatever, to it. Because I'm not using color, so it's not really going to make a difference. So that's pretty much his face. We'll move on to his little back spike fin things, whatever you want to call it. Personally, for me, I actually like to extend this a little bit more. I just feel like that's more Espio, but that's just my own thing. Okay, so for these, it's kind of a weird shape, but essentially what I always do, you could probably start this right at the edge of the end of the horn, is pretty much just go up and then over. That's pretty much how I do it, and then I kind of curve it outward, like, bring it out, and then I bring it back in. That's pretty much how I do it, mostly every time. And then you can, yeah, for this drawing, we'll just kind of connect it mostly to his hot dog shaped mouth thing, and because we like depth, we'll put another one on this side of him, so it's like, the whole thing going on. Alright, so that was his face. Next is his body, which is obviously a little bit easier. He has his little design pattern on his stomach, which is like in the shape of a heart. That's like how I've always drawn it. So, it's pretty much a heart. I mean, that's really what it is. And, at the bottom of the heart right here is where I usually start the tail, so I'd bring it over. And that's the start of the tail, which is over here, but we'll get more on that later. Let's just finish this part of the arm now. So he's like in like a fighting pose, so you're not gonna see, the whole rest of his arm. So to get that effect, we'll kind of just, that's his shoulder piece, or that's his shoulder, and his body curves around like that. You see where I'm going with that? And then because it's like behind him, all you need is pretty much 2 lines creating the rest of his arm. And for his fist, I know this isn't the best looking fist, but yeah. Make a circle and then just make little other circles with lines coming out of it. Pretty much the best way I could explain that. And then the ripple in his glove. Yay. Alright. So that was one side. Next we'll do the other arm before I move on to the tail, so that we don't overlap the lines. It's pretty much the same type of thing, except I've always heard people, or when like Yuji Naka and them draw Sonic, they always use the term like noodles. So again, this is pretty noodly for the arms. You start with a couple lines and then just curve it down and bring it to an end. Then for the little cuff things on the gloves, it's pretty much just a circle that gets cut off because of his hand, which again, it's not the best hand, but it's just like a little, it's a sketch, so we can add some little, yes, detail to the nth degree. Okay, we'll go from his back onto his tail, so pretty much just draw the connecting lines that come down. And now we have this, which is start the tail. I would work from the outside and go on the inside, so it's like a swirly spiral. And now I would bring it out. I'm surprised I did that and did not mess up. So you kind of have to use your, judgment in terms of the whole swirly spiral thing, so you don't spin out of control. But essentially that's his tail, and then he does have some scales, so you can just color in some black circles, and they essentially are the scales. For his glove, we can put those little things on. Alright, so that was his body. Finally, for his legs and shoes, again, with the whole noodle thing going on here, you're pretty much gonna, bring some lines down, but instead of curving it over so much, you kind of want to make a point, like, like a bend in his knee instead of, I don't know, I drew this one where he has, like, little, like, again, the noodle arms, but he has, like, stiff knees, so, that's just what I did. And then same thing with this type of thing on the glove. All you're really doing is making, like, a circle and bringing it around. And then you can just be fancy with however you want to, like, do the whole design thing. For the shoes, I have a distinct way of drawing the shoes. I always draw the back part first. In this sense, he's like, this one is like lifting off the ground, so we have to make it slightly raised. And then I always do that part first, and then I add the circle to the, which is the front of the shoe. I always end up doing that. I don't know why. That's how I've always drawn Espio. And then I always put two little shines in it, and then color it in black. So yeah. Coloring in Sharpie. Alright. So that's the first leg and shoe, and then we're pretty much doing the same thing, but we're just angling it differently because this foot is actually on the ground. So, and again, you can like do whatever you want for the whole, type of like, I don't know, the things on his shoes at the top. And then again, pretty much this shape, which is kind of like a square, I guess, but just bring it down, and then the obvious circle, which has a flat bottom because he's actually stepping on the ground, with the two circles, and then coloring it in black. Which is not the most entertaining thing to watch, but once it gets all colored in, you're like, hey, I know how to color in Sharpie now. Yeah. Alright, so that's primarily it for Espio. This is just shadowing that I had in the original picture, and this is just Knuckles, because he was on like a sheet with a bunch of other Sonic characters. So, that is how L Supersonic Q draws Espio, and I gotta put my signature at the bottom. Alright, so thanks for watching, guys. I hope you learned a little bit more on how to draw Espio if you didn't already know. If you attempt it, make a video response. Let me know how it turns out. And yeah, I'll get better in terms of giving directions into these series as they go along. I know some of the times it was kind of like, like draw this shape, but I'm still working on this series. But yeah, you're gonna get a lot more episodes from this series again over the course of the summer. So thanks for watching. Until the next video, that's it from L Supersonic Q and Finn.